Hello and welcome. My name is Abigail, editor at EdgeIR, and today I'm joined by two industry leaders to talk about one-stop system and FLYHT Aerospace's solutions recently expanded collaboration. First, Kent Jacobs, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Abigail. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Kent Jacobs. I'm president and interim CEO at FLYHT Aerospace. Been with the organization for a little over 22 years. So way back to the beginning with our solutions and our avionics we've been developing. Played various roles in the organization through that time. Had an experience as a pilot beforehand, flew up north in Canada. And yeah, about 3 years ago, took on the responsibility of president and then added interim CEO about a year and a half ago.
That's amazing. And Mike Knowles.
Hi, hello, my name is Mike Knowles, and Abigail, thanks for having us. And Kent, good to be here again with you, and appreciate the opportunities we've had together. Currently the CEO of and president of One Stop Systems, OSS. We're a company focused on ruggedized enterprise class processing at the edge, really to enable AI and ML capabilities on platforms where the data sits and resides. Have a broad career with 20 years in the U.S. Navy as a naval flight officer and naval acquisition. Spent a bunch of time with a bunch of different defense contractors throughout the U.S. and settled in on the company here, OSS, and our opportunities in working and supporting Kent and the great efforts that they've been taking on there at FLYHT. Pleasure to be here.
Very impressive backgrounds from both of you, Kent and Mike. I think, first of all, the audience would definitely like to know an overview of the recent partnership between FLYHT and OSS. Things like what prompted the collaboration, and elaborate on how OSS will bolster FLYHT's 5G avionic solutions at the edge.
Look, OSS is our chosen design house with regards to the edge and with previous products that we've developed with them in the past. OSS was the original design manufacturer of the AFIRS Edge, and we're moving into the AFIRS Edge Plus now, which is a different form factor. But OSS understands what it is that FLYHT does. They understand the aviation industry, and they bring the manufacturing capabilities on top of the design capabilities. So while FLYHT needs to be involved in the design and define how the product is actually being built, OSS brings all that design knowledge and the manufacturing capabilities to the programs that FLYHT is looking at. We anticipate having to go to large volumes, and that is something else that OSS brings. They have that capability to ramp up, to bring the number of product that we're going to need to us as we need them. And as Mike indicated at the beginning, the edge is very much an edge device, an edge computing device. It is installed on the aircraft. It's an avionics product interfacing on the aircraft to the various systems and drawing conclusions and running algorithms against that data throughout the course of a flight.
Yeah, Abigail, I'd second what Kent said. And I joined OSS about 9 months ago, and one of the first programs that we got to entertain was the launch concept behind AFIRS Edge Plus. And as Kent had mentioned, we'd been working on the AFIRS Edge, and one of the unique things you get opportunity in business to do is work with another company with great culture. And I just had noticed that very on early in the team how well from technical and program management perspectives the companies were able to come together and solve technical designs and move those forward. And you heard Kent mention, I mentioned before, we do a lot of rugged processing at the edge. We've been breaking boundaries in commercial aerospace and other markets with bringing that data center class performance and ruggedized elements at the edge. And a lot of the spirit and innovation and pushing boundaries really resides also in FLYHT. This new AFIRS Edge Plus product and what they're doing with 5G and the capability they're bringing to commercial aerospace. Those cultures really resounded, and we see it as a great opportunity to innovate with both companies' ideas and capability. And Kent's team also is forcing us to get better every day, which you want. So we learn a lot. We've done a lot in terms of bolstering our design capabilities, our program management, manufacturing capabilities, and it's really been a learning experience with both companies also. in really putting an efficient capability in place to push boundaries with new technology.
Nice. Mike, so you kind of glossed over some of the stuff that, you know, both companies have been working on together, but if you can give an overview of, since the announcement that was made recently, what kind of steps are being taken place behind the scenes that, you know, the average client won't be able to see. I guess people want to know, you know, what's been going on, what's the process like, what has it been, you know, what are you guys working on together jointly?
Yeah, I mean, currently right now we've got the teams focused on getting the AFIRS Edge Plus product out to market as quickly as possible with this great capability. So in doing so, right, we've really been leveraging the concept ideas behind 5G and the technical side of Kent's team to pull the AFIRS Edge Plus, the recorder and transmission and communications capability together. And from our perspective, right, we've been starting to lean on some of the core capabilities we've had just in ruggedizing compute solutions. But also key in these areas now is with the amount of data that's being processed and software that needs to run, is really to be able to do that at low latency. And OSS has had a long history of utilizing some key technologies like PCIe to implement extremely low latencies, so you can process and move data in a real-time basic environment. And so while we're headlong focused on getting AFIRS Edge Plus to the market successfully, Kent and his team and ours are pulling together, right, what are the other applicable areas that you know, their concepts and ideas, especially in the connectivity and compute space, matched on our hardware, you know, could potentially map out some new product concepts and ideas. And OSS has a foot really both in commercial and defense markets, so there's some intriguing things on the AFIRS Edge Plus capability that, you know, rival technology capabilities and needs in the Department of Defense. So we've also tried to keep a keen eye open to how can we transition technology back into the defense market. We know over history it's usually been the opposite. Defense would usually generate an idea and would find its way into the commercial market, but with things have almost switched in that pattern now with the technology and smart investments, where the Department of Defense is pulling great ideas out of the commercial markets. And I think a lot of the work that Kent's team and ours are doing here really represent the opportunities to leverage that.
And Ken, you know, other than the main goal of getting this product to market, what are some of the other goals and objectives that both companies have with this partnership?
Yeah, but if I could just comment briefly on something that Mike was saying there, you know, I want to draw attention to the fact that this work on the Edge Plus program has been going so well between the two companies. You know, we have a history of working together for several years, but nothing has been working as smoothly as the last maybe half year, 7, 8, 9 months, as we've brought the Edge to the state that we're at right now, right at the point of doing the qual testing of the product. It's a real tribute, I think, to the two companies that we've been able to continuously improve, both get better in our respective areas and bring this Edge along so quickly. And quickly is at the heart of what we're about, right? We do need to get this product to market, and we are making great progress there. So that it's funny when we talk about the different kind of objectives for FLYHT. Is to get that product to market as quickly as possible. We have such a large addressable market we want to tackle as quickly as we can. When it comes to additional features and products and design that we're going to be looking at in the future, the Edge is an incredibly versatile product. It is not just a 5G radio. It has Wi-Fi capability. It has Bluetooth capability. It's a communication device for an airline to put on an aircraft. So the opportunities as we move forward, as we look out a little bit into the future, once we get the first product going, it's incredible what we have. The opportunities for the product are there, and we're constantly working with OSS to find those additional opportunities.
And so what will this partnership mean for the aerospace industry in general? I don't know who wants to take that question.
I can.
Yeah, Abby, I'll jump in first, right? Because you know, it's we've been, as a small company, OSS, and in growing in the relationship with FLYHT has been a very good channel, if you will, for us to be introduced as a key supplier in the commercial aerospace market, right? So we're quite excited about that relationship with FLYHT and what that can drive for us moving into that market and expand our capabilities in there, especially with all the regulations and requirements that go with putting something on a commercial aircraft. This is really expanding our capabilities and has created a learning environment for us to further expand a footprint in there. And I also think, as Kent mentioned, a lot of the work they're doing there, shouldn't be overlooked. The 5G, the wireless, the Bluetooth capability, all those communication and connectivity links are really key technologies that build off of a compute and switching capability to deliver the capability like AFIRS Edge Plus. And so, our ability to engage in that and understand that really is a key objective for us, because it furthers our capabilities and understandings of how we can leverage larger solutions into a market space in partnership with somebody such as FLYHT.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And FLYHT really brings that experience, that 20-year experience that we have building SATCOM systems, providing that to the industry. We've got that we've got that case that's where FLYHT grew up, was around those SATCOM devices and providing the software as a solution, as a service products to the industry. So, we fully expect the Edge to expand that. We expect it to really grow. The Edge is such a capable device, reaching out into the aircraft, pulling the large volumes of data, making all of that available for FLYHT to do the additional work that we do on top of just moving the data off the aircraft. So it's our reputation and our history with the airlines and with the industry that we can bring to this relationship. And, we lean on OSS so that we can, when we need the call, when we make the call and we need the product, we know it's going to be there for us. So, I think FLYHT brings that industry relatable, those industry relations. OSS makes sure that we've got the right product at the right time to get it on the aircraft.
And what are some of the potential benefits for customers and end users once this product goes into market?
If I can, I love some of the just the core functions of what the AFIRS Edge provides. The AFIRS Edge is going to be the first 5G capable product in the market that allows airlines to move large volumes of data off the aircraft post-flight. It sounds silly, but aircraft generate gigabytes of data throughout the course of a flight, and moving it off the aircraft in an efficient manner, in an expensive manner, and moving it off the aircraft when the aircraft can be anywhere in the world. That's one of the absolute core benefits for our customers. But the Edge, we've talked about it, is such a capable product. In addition to moving that data off the aircraft, airlines can now have that data moved to the flight deck throughout the course of a flight. And now we're touching into that kind of edge computing world that Mike was introducing. And that analysis of the data and pushing it to the flight deck, not for display on instrumentation, but for use in third-party applications or applications that FLYHT builds to provide the flight crew with additional information about the state of their flight, so they can make changes to the way the aircraft is actually being operated throughout the course of the flight. These are absolutely core and fundamental benefits for the customers that are going to be introduced through a product like the Edge.
Yeah, Abigail, I would add on. I think Kent really highlighted some great elements there. Both of us come from an aviation background in our prior life, and thinking about the capability just in terms of AFIRS Edge Plus and those technologies, they just create efficiencies in operation, ground and airborne, and increase safety. So for people who've flown, right, that opportunity for the data recording and the presence of the data to be able to transmit that off board, being able to move information up to the pilot in the cockpit, the increased just situational awareness that you provide in that, right, it is an amazing move forward. And being able to do that in the speed and the real time with the massive amounts of data you can imagine are generated on an aircraft per second or per millisecond, and the compute and the latency now to be able to drive that and move that, and then above that all too, right? I think you could probably appreciate, especially in today's day and age with the onset of AI and data, with all that data now, the opportunity to take the rapidly advancing AI algorithms, ML algorithms that are coming out, right, are only going to further enhance that capability because of the data's there. And because now we can process that at the edge, at the actual platform itself, you can take real-time advantage of AI capabilities in such a system to, again, enhance efficiency of operations, increase safety. So it's really quite exciting when the technologies that we've mentioned here today merge together.
Ken, I want to know what are some of the specific targets and benchmarks set for this, not just the product that we're discussing today, but just in general, like the partnership. I know that you've said you've worked together in the past, and this one is going so well. What are some of the benchmarks set, and what does the future look like essentially?
Yeah, I'm going to keep coming back to that first the biggest milestone is getting that AFIRS Edge to market. But there are several things that lead up to that, and working with Mike and the team at OSS means that we're actually in the process of developing what are called STCs, supplemental type certificates. These are the validations that agencies like the FAA or Transport Canada or EASA in Europe, they have to allow us to make a modification to an aircraft to install an edge. So, some of the major milestones are getting those certifications so that we can put the product on the aircraft. And OSS is moving forward with the program in a way that we're actually able to do this in parallel. We're able to do the engineering work for the product on the plane at the same time that the product is being finalized and being tested. So we have a whole series of milestones around the development program relating to the certification efforts in the various countries around the world. That's foremost in our mind as we're moving forward. We also see, though, several opportunities as we see this as a long-term relationship. This is a partnership that doesn't end when the Edge Plus makes it to market. This is a partnership that is going to continue as we add new functionality and new products, as we bring new design ideas to the AFIRS Edge platform. So we see it as a long-term opportunity. Solutions and opportunities are just going to continue as we move forward.
And Abigail, I would add in too, on top of Ken's comments, having spent a fair amount of my career working some big prime contractors, right? Sometimes development projects can take quite a long time to bring to market. And interestingly enough, this team between FLYHT and OSS have done a fantastic job. We're literally entering qual test 7 months after we kicked off a clean sheet white paper design. It's not that often you bring such a hardy, capable product into test within 7 months, and we'll have the opportunity later this spring and summer to start fielding the capability. So think about that: 2 teams get together on a new design and development, and in less than a year we're fielding and bringing a fully qualified product to market. I think that speaks a lot to just how cultures and companies, when they get together and focus on the efforts and utilize the benefits and strengths of each team, can really make things happen quickly, effectively and efficiently. So we're quite excited and proud of what FLYHT and OSS have been able to do in such a short period of time.
Can I just add, Abigail, really quickly? Mike, you mentioned 7 months. I used that in a presentation internally here just the other day. I had to look at it on a calendar and actually had to look twice to believe it. That is an incredible progress in a really short time to get to a product like the Edge Plus right to the qual testing stage. It's a real credit to the 2 companies.
Agree.
That is brilliant. So in terms of the edge, we've spoken a bit about edge computing, and Mike, a lot in that space based on unconventional sectors that are now seeing edge being used almost every single day and in every sector of their industry. So tell me how edge, other than latency and other than providing this data, you spoke about having the data from the aircraft straight to the cockpit. Other than that, how is edge computing transforming the aviation sector?
Yeah, I think you look across commercial and defense, and it's really aviation and almost every other sector that has a need for data and computation at the edge. And I think it's really being driven by this kind of unique thing that's happened in the market. If we were to go back as early as 2 or 3 years ago, right, AI was starting to build some momentum, and companies, especially in hardware and edge computing space, were focused on, if you would, standard open systems architectures and commonality and modules across the compute. What I don't think anybody had contemplated would come on so quickly was this AI ML demand. And it has come on very quickly, and it has turned out to be, I think, more capable and better than most thought this early. And so what we're seeing is on platforms at the edge, be it commercial aerospace, military aerospace, land, sea, is that because of all the data that's generated by sensors, the opportunity to bring high-end compute and run multiple AI inferences on a single set of data increases the capability or enhances the outcome of the mission, whether it's commercial aerospace or it's defense aerospace. And the result of that is now we want to be able to run what might have been 1 or 2 AI algorithms. We want to run 15 to 20 of them on a set of data. And that's driven this kind of need for compute and low latency to do that, because now we can push decisions forward in the edge. We can make sure they're happening faster, and we can leverage that capability in more real time because of what AI can provide and what it can find inside these massive data sets. So both industries are kind of, defense and commercial, going through what I say is this kind of revolution that says, wow, AI capabilities coming on so strong, so fast, and they're so good. To enable to keep up with those, we have to use this kind of enterprise class, low latency performance so that we can provide these added enhancements of what that software can bring.
Yeah, it's a great description, Mike. And I concur. The AI ML approach and the way that it's advanced over the last 1, 2, maybe 2.5 years is incredible. I'm not sure that people saw that. I can't say that I particularly saw that it was going to move quite that quickly. Part of FLYHT's mission is to leave no data stranded. And in that regard, we're talking about leaving data on an aircraft. And the Edge does something that is incredible for us. And that it just interfaces with so many things on the aircraft that we don't leave the data stranded. And at the heart of those AI and those ML algorithms, whether they're run on the edge, on the aircraft, or they're run post-flight, you need the data. You need the data lake, and you need the data with the feature set, and that you need it recorded in a way and stored in a way that is usable by those AI ML features. And the Edge performs all of that for us. While it was maybe 2 years ago, just kind of on the periphery of what we were thinking, over the last couple of years, it's become forefront in the way that we're looking at this. And by not leaving the data stranded and making sure that we're providing it to not only our customers, but to ourselves in a way that we can use it in those AI ML opportunities, it's opening up more it's opening up windows and opportunities that we simply didn't see 2 years ago. So a really interesting kind of shift, or maybe not a shift, but an expansion of what can happen in the industry. And OSS and FLYHT are right there. We're right there participating.
Agree.
Leading, forget participating. I know it's just that with a product like this, we're leading.
I think that, it's also important to discuss how this product could potentially, I don't know whether this is in the pipeline, but, tap into cybersecurity in the aviation industry and things like regulation and compliance and data management. We've discussed about data management, we've discussed about, but we haven't touched on cybersecurity. What's the potential for this product? Mike, do you want to go first?
Yeah. No, I'll throw a couple, because as I mentioned, OSS, we have a foot both in the commercial and the defense world. And quickly after discussing artificial intelligence, machine learning, right, you have to follow up with cybersecurity, right? When you're getting a massive amounts of computes and big networks moving data around, right, cybersecurity becomes a definitive challenge, right? And so there's a lot that goes into protecting those. I know just your basic regulatory AS9100 kinds of objectives to ensure operations efficiency of execution and quality. OSS has built that up over time. We've done some unique things though because of some of the defense work we've done. So our way to address cybersecurity really starts from internal efforts inside the company, and then building those ultimately into the project. So, for example, here at OSS, we follow this new model called the capability maturity model for cyber. So this is an effort in industry to make sure that design and processes in the company take cybersecurity in mind from the very onset in the beginning. And so we're qualified under that effort. We also do a lot of work in the U.S. with the National Security Agency in terms of monitoring our networks, our development systems, and all to keep constant view on security of anything we're doing in a compute space. And then our designs, while built around open architectures, right? They're built in mind with reaching standards that are set by advisory bodies in terms of cyber protection and capability and in those implementations. So from daily execution in the office through design process through built into the hardware firmware capabilities, there's an element of cyber security design objectives and requirements across those that we deal with from beginning to end.
That's a great summary, Mike, of some of the challenges in the cybersecurity world. FLYHT really picks it up at the level where we're interacting with the airlines and we're interacting with agencies like IATA and ICAO on situations like this, and then of course with the FAA and the EASA and Transport Canada around the world. The cybersecurity challenges are not all fully defined yet, right? Aviation doesn't move terribly quickly in some of these regards, and it doesn't mean that we're not prepared for them. In fact, it's the exact opposite. We're well positioned to address and to deal with the cybersecurity issues that we believe will be in place, and the regulations that are coming in this space. The Edge is built on an AWS, Amazon Web Services architecture on a technology stack. That very much allows for us to take advantage of not only the AWS architecture, but to be future-proofing ourselves with the product the best that we can. There will be challenges and there will be regulations that are coming into place in the coming years. And we absolutely believe, not only with the hardware implementation that we have and some of the physical separation of processes and components on the box or inside the box, but with the software stack that we're using, that we're going to be able to meet and exceed all of those cybersecurity concerns. It's a regulatory challenge, but we're well positioned to deal with it.
And lastly, I think before we go, what is the next step once this product is out and it's doing what it's supposed to do essentially? Are there plans in the future for future collaborations? Is there stuff that you can share anyway that you're working on to deliver to the market?
Yeah, Abigail, I can start and Kent jump in, right? It was like I said, I was really excited when I joined the company, as I mentioned earlier, with just the cultures and the technology collaborative concepts between FLYHT and OSS, right? The stuff we've been doing in compute and switching fabrics and a lot of the comm work and system concept ideas that FLYHT was bringing. And this AFIRS Edge Plus, as you've heard Kent talk about, right, with its communications capability, the amount of data that we're generating, we knew we were headed to get a product out the door, right? And we set up agreements and teaming to go do that. But the companies knew all along when we got this settled that there was room to leverage these capabilities in this relationship much further. And I think we've hinted at a lot of those. Teams have been head down to get this product out the door in time, so it's important. But in the background, we've been working with FLYHT and contemplating these ideas, a lot of what we've talked about here today. You've seen the massive amount of generation capability. You've seen the communication capabilities built in. Those kinds of applications across commercial aerospace and other markets create opportunity for us to bring in additional software, other capabilities to take advantage of that data set. And then we also believe, because of a lot of the capabilities that FLYHT has brought in that communication spectrum, that systems integration concept from across the product, that a lot of engagements inside the U.S. Department of Defense, we think there's opportunities to leverage the skill set and the partnership for FLYHT and OSS to bring those to solve similar problems and challenges that the services are seeing.
Yeah, Mike, I fully agree. Again, a great summary. Look, if I consider where FLYHT was 15 years ago, and you know, with hindsight, the kind of limited, the small scope with which we saw the world in aviation and what we thought we could do, and now I consider where we are today, especially with a relationship like we have with OSS, you know, there are multiple products and there are multiple things. We're not short on ideas. In fact, it's a matter of sometimes trimming them to make sure that we can focus on the ones that are right in front of us and the ones that are most important. And I think this is the third time I'm going to say it. You know, getting that product to market is our most important thing right now. But the future opportunities between the two companies, you know, I think FLYHT really does bring that experience in the commercial world out there in the commercial airline industry. And, you know, there are opportunities to expand into things like defense, into business aircraft, areas that we haven't typically worked on in the past. But knowing that we have a partner that can actually help us with and perform that design and that manufacturing capability, that relieves the pressure from FLYHT of needing to manage that as well. We can focus on the part that we do best, which is dealing with the airlines and providing them with those solutions. And OSS can, I may be simplifying, but focus on the part that we need the most, and that is the manufacturing and the design of the future projects. There will be more to come.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today, and I look forward to hearing more announcements from you guys as the product heads to the market.
Thanks, Abigail. And Kent, good to see you again.
It's a pleasure, Mike, and Abigail. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.